Have you ever stood in your kitchen, holding a piece of fresh produce, and thought to yourself, well, this has to be good for me, right? It's a vegetable, after all. Most of us were raised to believe that veggies are always the healthiest choice on our plate, tanned in many ways. That's true. But here's the twist. Not every vegetable is a friend to your body, especially as we grow older. Asterisk, you might be surprised to hear this. But certain vegetables, yes, even the ones that look green and innocent, can quietly work against your health, especially if you're over 60. You see, as our bodies age, our digestive systems, kidneys, and immune responses become more sensitive. What worked for us in our 30s or 40s might now be putting extra strain on our bodies without us. Even realizing it, asterisk that stiffness in your joints, the bloating you thought was just getting older, or even those random spikes in blood pressure, sometimes the cause is hiding right there in your salad bowl. Asterisk, that's why today I want to gently walk you through some important and maybe even eye-opening information. We're going to talk about 8 common vegetables that seniors should be careful with or avoid altogether. Not to scare you, but to empower you with the knowledge you need to feel better. Stay sharp and live with more energy and confidence. Asterisk so. Grab a cup of tea, settle in. And let's start with the first one that often surprises people. Asterisk, let's talk about raw cruciferous vegetables, things like raw broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Don't get me wrong, these veggies are loaded with nutrients. But when eaten raw, especially in large amounts, they can interfere with your thyroid function. If you've ever felt sluggish, cold, even on warm days, or noticed weight gain despite not eating more, your thyroid might be under stress. Asterisk. That's because raw cruciferous vegetables contain natural compounds called goitrogens. These compounds can block iodine from being absorbed by the thyroid gland. And iodine is essential for proper thyroid function. Now, if your thyroid is already slowing down with AHS, it does for many of us adding raw goitrogens to your plate every day can quietly make things worse. Asterisk, does that mean you should never eat broccoli or cabbage again? Of course not, but if you love them, steam them or cook them lightly. The heat breaks down those goitrogens, making them much safer to enjoy without the thyroid drama. Small changes like this can make a big difference in how you feel. Asterisk. Now, let's move to something that's often served at picnics, barbecues, or tucked into sandwiches: pickled vegetables. Whether it's pickled cucumbers, beets, onions, or carrots, these tangy treats are often loaded with sodium. For someone over 60, this can be a sneaky danger. High sodium can cause water retention, swelling in the ankles or hands, and worse can spike blood pressure dangerously high. Asterisk, I know, pickles add a punch to any meal. They're crunchy, flavorful, and fun. But here's the thing. Our kidneys aren't what they used to be. With age, they process sodium less efficiently. Yes. Meaning the extra salt just lingers in the body, building up tension in our blood vessels. Over time, this can lead to hypertension, heart problems, or even kidney strain. Asterisk. So if you're craving something crunchy and flavorful, why not try sliced cucumbers with a sprinkle of herbs and a dash of lemon juice instead? It's refreshing, flavorful, and kind to your body. You can still enjoy your meals. You just shift the ingredients in your favor. Asterisk. Let's take a breath here for a moment. I know it can feel a little overwhelming. After all, these are things we've eaten for years, right? But what's powerful? Is this you're not helpless? You have the choice and the knowledge now to do better for your body today than you did yesterday. And that's all any of us can do. Asterisk now. Here's another one that might surprise you: nightshade vegetables, especially eggplants and peppers. These colorful vegetables can cause inflammation in the joints for some seniors, especially those with arthritis or autoimmune conditions. They contain alkaloids that, in sensitive people, may trigger stiffness, swelling, or even flare-ups of pain. Asterisk, have you ever eaten a big helping of stuffed peppers or roasted eggplant only to wake up the next morning with sore knees or aching hands? It could be the nightshades talking. Not everyone is affected the same way, but if you notice that pattern in yourself, it might be time to experiment. Try cutting them out for a couple of weeks and see how your joints feel. If there's a noticeable difference you've just uncovered, A powerful clue about your own health? Asterisk, of course, that doesn't mean these vegetables are bad in general. But for you, if they're causing inflammation, you owe it to your body to listen and adjust. Asterisk, and speaking of vegetables that play hide and seek with your health, we should also talk about corn, especially canned or creamed corn.
Yes,
It's technically a vegetable, but it behaves more like a starchy, sugary carb. Most canned corn is also packed with sodium and sometimes even added sugars. Asterisk, the tricky part is, corn can spike blood sugar levels quickly. If you're managing diabetes or even borderline blood sugar issues, corn can make things harder without you even realizing it. You eat it thinking it's a healthy choice, but then feel tired, foggy, or even a little dizzy a couple of hours later. That's your blood sugar on a roller coaster ride. Asterisk, and guess what? That's not what we need at this stage in life. Our bodies deserve steady energy, not quick highs and draining lows. If you love corn, consider fresh corn in small amounts. And always pair it with fiber and protein to slow that sugar spike. Asterisk, you've already come this far with me. And I can tell you care about your health. That alone is a powerful step in the right direction. It means you're not giving up, and you're not just letting time take its toll without a fight. Asterisk, now that we've looked at raw cruciferous vegetables, pickled veggies, nightshades like eggplant and starchy corn, let's continue this conversation in a moment and look at a few more vegetables that can quietly sabotage your health. Even when they look perfectly healthy on your plate, you're going to want to hear about these. Next ones, they've caught many people off guard, and they just might be hiding in your fridge right now. So, now that we've already talked about some surprising vegetables like raw broccoli, pickled treats, nightshades, and even corn, let's continue with a few more that often fly under the radar yet can quietly affect your health. When you're over 60 asterisk, let's talk about something that often shows up in soups, salads, and smoothies: spinach. Yes, I know. Spinach has long been hailed as a superfood. Popeye made it famous, and for good reason. It's full of iron, magnesium, and other nutrients. But here's the catch. Spinach is also very high in something called oxalates. Asterisk, oxalates are natural compounds found in certain vegetables. And when they build up in the body, they can lead to kidney stones. If you've ever had one, you know they're no joke. Sharp pain, discomfort, and sometimes a trip to the hospital. It's not fun. Asterisk, and unfortunately our kidneys don't filter oxalates as efficiently as they once did. So eating large quantities of raw spinach regularly can quietly increase your risk of stone formation. And here's a little known fact. Cooking spinach can help reduce the oxalate content. Steamed or sautéed spinach is gentler on the kidneys than raw spinach in your daily smoothie. Asterisk. So again, it's not about banning spinach from your life. It's about how much and how often, and whether you're cooking it or not. If kidney stones have been a problem for you in the past, it might be time to swap in other greens like kale or arugula, which are much lower in oxalates. Asterisk, speaking of greens, there's another one that might surprise you: beet greens. These are the leafy tops of beets, and they're often added to salads or sautéed with garlic. But just like spinach, they're high in oxalates. Plus, they're also rich in potassium, which sounds like a good thing, right? Asterisk, well, not always. As we age, our kidneys may struggle to regulate potassium levels. And too much potassium in the bloodstream, a condition called hyperkalemia, can lead to irregular heartbeats or even cardiac arrest in severe cases. It's not about causing panic, but about being mindful. If you've been told by your doctor to watch your potassium, or if you're on certain medications for blood pressure or heart disease, beet greens might not be the best daily go-to. Asterisk, and while we're here, let's talk about something so many people love: potatoes. Whether it's mashed, fried, roasted, or baked, potatoes are comfort food at its finest. Sadly, they're also a blood sugar bomb. A single medium potato can raise your blood sugar almost as fast as a soda. Asterisk. Why? Because potatoes are high on the glycemic index. That means they convert to sugar in your bloodstream very quickly. And if you're over 60 and managing type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, or just trying to keep steady energy, that sugar spike can wreak havoc, causing fatigue, mood dips, and long-term harm to your nerves, eyes, and kidneys. Asterisk even worse. Many people pair potatoes with buttercream or salt-heavy toppings, turning a starchy bomb into a full-blown health hazard. Asterisk if you still love that warm, soft texture. Consider sweet potatoes. They have a lower glycemic index and are packed with fiber and vitamins. But even then, moderation is key. Asterisk, let's pause for a moment. I want to remind you of something important. This video isn't about fear, it's about freedom. When you know what foods may be quietly holding you back, making you feel more tired, stiff, or foggy, you have the power to choose better. And that's a beautiful thing, at any age. Asterisk, you've lived through so many changes, learned so many lessons. And this is just another moment to take control, to tweak just a few things on your plate so you can feel better when you wake up. More energy to walk outside, maybe even sleep more peacefully at night. It's all connected. Asterisk. Now, here's another common culprit: canned or processed tomatoes. Tomatoes themselves are rich in lycopene and antioxidants, which are wonderful. But the problem is how they're prepared and preserved. Many canned tomato products like pasta sauces, tomato soups, salsas are full of added salt and sugars. Asterisk, too much sodium, again, pushes your blood pressure up. And those hidden sugars sneak into your bloodstream, contributing to inflammation, weight gain, and fatigue. On top of that, processed tomatoes are acidic, which can cause heartburn or acid reflux, an issue many seniors are all too familiar with. Asterisk, if you love tomatoes, try using fresh ones in your cooking. Or look for no-salted, low-acid versions if you're buying canned. Small switches like that can take a toll off your heart and digestion. Asterisk, we've come this far. I want to say something. I know these changes aren't always easy. Food is tied to memories, habits, comfort. A bowl of mashed potatoes or a crisp pickle might remind you of family dinners, holidays, or simpler times. And stepping back from those favorites can feel like giving up a piece of joy. Asterisk. But here's a gentle truth. Joy doesn't have to come from food that hurts you. It can come from waking up without that bloated feeling, from walking longer without aching knees, feeling alert and alive all day instead of drained by noon. That's the kind of joy I want for you. You've already made a powerful choice just by being here listening, learning, and caring about your health. And that tells me something: you're not done growing, not done improving, you're not settling. Asterisk. So now, as we keep moving forward together, there's one last group of vegetables I want to talk about, ones that many seniors think are harmless, even healthy, but can carry risks that most people don't talk about. These last few will tie everything together and leave you with practical wisdom you can carry into your kitchen tomorrow. Let's keep going. Your best years are still ahead. You've come so far in this conversation, and I want to thank you for sticking with me. It takes strength and self-love to face the truth about the things we've grown used to, especially when it comes to something as personal as the food on our plate. Asterisk, we've talked about some surprising veggies already: raw cruciferous vegetables, pickled items, nightshades like eggplant and peppers, corn, spinach, beet greens, potatoes, and canned tomatoes. Now, let's talk about the final few vegetables on our list, those that can quietly put stress on your aging body, even though they seem harmless at first glance. Asterisk, let's start with asparagus. Yes, it's often viewed as a fancy side dish at restaurants, steamed and topped with a little butter or olive oil. It's low in calories and high in vitamins, but here's the tricky part. For people with certain gout or uric acid issues, asparagus can actually be a problem. Asterisk, asparagus is moderately high in purines, natural substances that your body breaks down into uric acid. When that uric acid builds up, it can trigger painful flare-ups of gout, especially in the feet or joints. If you've ever woken up with a red, swollen toe that feels like it's on fire, you know how brutal that can be. Asterisk, and unfortunately, the older we get, the more likely we are to develop these uric acid issues, especially if we've got a history of kidney problems or high-protein diets. So if asparagus is a favorite of yours, and you've had gout symptoms, it might be time to cut back or talk to your doctor about safer veggie alternatives. Asterisk.
Asterisks. Now let's talk about something that's technically a vegetable but often misunderstood: mushrooms.
While many mushrooms are nutritious, some store-bought varieties and canned mushrooms can cause issues for seniors, especially if you have a sensitive stomach or compromised immune system. Asterisk why? Because mushrooms can sometimes harbor toxins or molds, especially if they're not stored or cooked properly. And as we age, our digestive lining becomes more fragile. That means your body might react more strongly to bacteria or fungal traces in mushrooms that you once could tolerate without any issue. Asterisk canned mushrooms, in particular, are often soaked in salty preservatives, and that's an added strain on the kidneys and heart. So if you love mushrooms, go for fresh organic ones. Wash them thoroughly, cook them well, and enjoy in moderation. If you've noticed stomach upset or bloating after eating mushrooms, try pausing for a while and see how your body responds. Asterisk. And that brings us to the last vegetable on this list, and it's one that often gets tucked into soups, stocks, or veggie mixes without much thought: onions, especially raw onions. Asterisk. Now, onions are flavorful and have some great benefits, but for many seniors, raw onions can cause digestive distress, gas, bloating, even acid reflux. These are all common reactions to the sulfur compounds in onions. And while younger people may bounce back quickly from an upset stomach, older adults can deal with days of discomfort, nausea, or interrupted sleep. Asterisk, if you love the flavor of onions, consider cooking them well. Lightly sautéed or roasted onions are much easier on the stomach. And if you still experience discomfort, try swapping in milder options like chives or leeks, which are gentler on the digestive tract. Now, let's take a breath together. If you're thinking, wait, I've eaten most of these veggies my whole life, you're not alone. Many of us were taught that all vegetables are healthy, period. But aging changes everything. Our metabolism, organs, hormone levels, and immune response, none of it works the way it did at 25, and that's okay. Asterisk, what's not okay is continuing to eat blindly, ignoring the signals our bodies send us like joint pain, gas, tiredness, or bloating just because we assume we're doing everything right. Asterisk, you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't need to throw out your pantry or fear every vegetable. But awareness, that's where the power lies. Asterisk, start small. Maybe you steam your spinach instead of blending it raw. Maybe you swap your canned soup for homemade with low-sodium broth and fresh veggies. Maybe you pause on nightshades for a couple of weeks and just see what happens. Asterisk, your body will tell you everything you need to know. You give it the chance to speak. Asterisk, you deserve to wake up with energy. You deserve to move through your day without belly pain or joint stiffness. You deserve to eat food that loves you back. That's the kind of joy I want for you, not just long life, but a vibrant, active, and peaceful one. Asterisk, and here's a secret. It's never too late to make a change. Even if you're in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. Even if you've had health struggles or habits that feel hard to break. Every small adjustment you make today creates a ripple in your body, one that can lead to better sleep, sharper thinking, more strength, and a stronger immune system. Asterisk, so what's the takeaway from all of this? Asterisk, it's simple. Not all vegetables are created equal, especially for older adults. Some may still serve your body well. Others might need to be enjoyed in moderation or replaced with gentler alternatives. And you are the best person to make that call. Once you know what to look out for. Asterisk, I hope today's conversation gave you a fresh perspective and maybe even a few aha moments. If any of this connected with you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share your experiences. Let me know what foods you've struggled with or which changes have helped you feel better. Asterisk, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more to share, and we're building a beautiful community of seniors who believe that age is just a number and that health, joy, and energy are always worth chasing. Asterisk, remember this, your body is still listening. It wants to heal. It wants to feel good. And with every mindful bite you take, you're giving it that chance. Here's to living your best life, one gentle choice at a time. Take care, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Asterisk.